So when I record at home, all our stuff is under the records. And I usually just set up a few pedals. This is my very organized pedal board. And I only ever use fuzz, tuner, and this cool distortion made by this girl that I got like 10 years ago, and I just love the sound of it. I just start with a guitar and a couple pedals and the tape machine and see if I can get the idea down with that. I think I commandeered this room because it's the lightest room. We don't get a ton of light at our house. And then Mackenzie is a queen of vegetation, so she's vegetated it. And then I have my Gumby garden with my Gumbies and my Smurfs and my Mr. Peanut Heads. And this is where I recorded See You Later Separator, the new album, and then where I recorded my last album, Getting Stranger. Just sitting right here. I just made a weird song on here with just bass and drums. Then I kind of have to figure out, I don't know what the guitar is going to be on it yet. I have to figure out what that's going to be. But the song is called You Don't Have to Get Ahead of the World Anymore. That's about as exciting as it gets so far. I'll try to put some guitar on it. Too loud. The three songs that we're going to play in the session are pretty different. One of them is really old, Radio Show. I listen to your radio show at night. That one is just like super fun to play, and it's got a good groove, and it's like a staple. I know the band's not going to mess it up. It's not a new one, and we're all tight on it. And we stack the vocals really cool live. That makes me excited. But that song's about my uncle, the one that I talked about who I looked up to as surfer and skater when I was little. And one time he called me and he was like, yo, you got to tune in. Phoebe, who's his daughter, who was my cousin, she like just got her own radio station at her college in Ohio or whatever. And she's like on air tonight. And so he was so hyped to like tune in and hear her on the air that I just immediately thought of like a song about someone missing someone, and the way they feel connected to them is by listening to their radio show at night. It ended up like being easier to write about as if it was a love song. I just liked the visual of someone like staying up until the middle of the night tuning into someone's radio show. Another song we're going to play in the session is a song that just came out recently called Avoid the Voice. And that one came to me because I was just like annoyed with myself and thinking about all the shit I do throughout the day to distract myself from the voice in my head. And I was getting tripped up. And so I just started like angrily listing off all the things that I do throughout the day that are dumb to distract myself. Where it's like watching the big game, scratching the dog, circle the clout drain, which Mackenzie came up with that line, which was just scrolling my phone. Your life is a blog. So that song is really exciting, and it's kind of faster paced, and it's more like punk, and Mark played drums on that recording. It's the first one that came out with him on the recording. So it's just like an exciting one for us to play live, and we've been playing it for a while, and it's pretty hyped up. So we'll probably start with that one. And then the third one we're going to play for the session is called Flowers Surround You. It's off the new album, where I had just started trying to meditate. And I just read the Yogananda book, Autobiography of a Yogi, and I would meditate out on that back porch, and I would just kept seeing this visual of Yogananda walking me down my elementary school hallway, and then he would open the door to the library, and it was like a drop off, and then off in the distance was like rolling hills, and they all had different colored flowers on them. And I remember in the moment being like, all right, cool. Like, that's not that profound. I don't know what that is. Then I was reading an Eckhart Tolle book. He wrote that he like envisions like someday we'll all be able to tap into this higher level of consciousness, and we'll all finally like the climate will be ripe and that flower will spread and there will be like fields of flowers. I went back and meditated like a week later, had the whole vision, saw the flowers, and was like, middle of my meditation, like, what the fuck? It's the flowers. And I just started writing it, and then like a minute-long song about my experience with the flowers came out. And so that's Flowers Surround You, and I like that song. And it was the first one that made me feel like I should make a new album. Fast forward, that album's done. So yeah, playing Flowers Surround You on at the session too. For the future, I just want to keep being able to make music. I'm loving this journey. I'm loving that I never actually could have called these past steps. Like, it's funny, like even through all this spiritual journeying shit, it's the one thing that like hasn't changed for me. I'm like even more into it now. And it makes me believe that like, okay, I wasn't doing this for an ego thing. I wasn't doing this to gain power, or to gain like a reputation, or to be cool. That stuff trickles in for sure. And that stuff comes into my mind, and it always will. But I think at the core, I'm just like, I'm a kid in a candy shop when I get an idea and I get to fuck around with it with my friends and figure it out. And so I just want to be able to keep doing that and keep pushing that, and wherever that heads, you know.